The reason why was I was leaving everything and everyone I knew behind. I remember knowing that I was going to leave my ex-husband for reasons that were very valid. It's not always going to be easy, but when you get on the other side of your problems, and I said to myself to get through this, I said to myself this, listen, I can go through a divorce and maybe the first year of my life is going to be hell. It takes real courage to get rid of your problems. And the only way to get rid of your problems is to go through your problems. And you see, what happens is, have you ever had a situation in your life, and listen, we all go through this. I can't tell you how many mistakes I've made that keep repeating themselves in my life until I just realize, damn, Arica, this is never gonna go away until you go through it. You can't run away from it. You can't pretend that it's not there. You can't turn a blind eye to it. The reality is those problems will keep showing up. And what you have to have is courage to go through the problems. And how do I know this? Because I'll never forget, I moved to Bali, Indonesia, and I was starting to encounter, once life had started settling, it was during COVID, and I realized that I was having some of the same damn problems that I had had my whole life, that just moving to Bali didn't make it all go away, didn't make it better. That once the dust settled, once the excitement and all the woo of moving to a different country, when all that kind of settled and I was faced with myself, what I saw was that my problems, they came with me. And so I started telling my friends, because listen, I believe in transparency. I believe in opening up your heart and opening up to people so that they can support you. And that's a huge part of courage in itself, is allowing people into your journey, allowing them into your problems. You may think that people don't want to hear about your problems, but people who really love you, believe it or not, they do want to hear about your problems because they do want to support you. And sometimes just getting their support fuels your courage to go through it. I remember I was telling my friends in Bali, I said, listen, everywhere I go, there I am. And what I meant by that was I couldn't outrun my problems. That the only way that I was going to conquer them was to find the courage to go through the problem. How do you get rid of it? First thing that you have to do is realize that it's not going to kill you. Most of the time, we don't even get started because we are convinced, fear tells us that this problem is gonna take you out, that this problem is gonna be the death of you, that if you confront this problem, that people are gonna reject you, you're gonna be alone, you're gonna be poor, accepted, you're going to destroy everything you've built. But what fear does is it keeps your problems. You don't get rid of your problems by listening to fear. So the reality is that you gotta confront that demon of fear in your life and realize, listen, you cannot continue driving the seat of my life. You're not driving the car of my life. My courage will drive the seat, that will be in the driver's seat, will drive my life. But as long as fear has the upper hand, as long as fear has full access to your brain, to your heart, to your emotions, and you allow that story to continue to build and build and build, you will never get rid of your problems. No, it's until you finally have a conversation with fear and say, listen, I'm afraid, and that's okay. But the reality is I am going to take the next damn step. I'm not gonna stop here. I'm gonna continue to make steps forward. I don't know if you've ever seen that Indiana Jones movie where he needs to cross to the other side, and there's this huge empty gap. It's massive, it's a huge chasm. Chasm? I'm not saying that right. Anyways, there's a huge gap there, and so what he has to do, he knows the roadmap, and what he understands is that he has to take the first step in order for the bridge to appear. But the reality is when he looks down, what he can see is just death. It's just a dark abyss. And there are people around him leaning on him and his courage to take that first step. Beauty is when you have the courage to get rid of your problems, that whether people admit to it or not, there are people all around you who are hoping that you make it through because they want you to show them the way. They want you to pave the way, which is why I'm here, which is why you should subscribe to this channel, because this is all going to be about paving the way so that you can become the damn hero of your life, that you can have the life of your dreams, the life that you're meant for, the life that you desire, and the power and the courage and the confidence and the tools to get there. So he looks at this abyss. Everyone's terrified because they have no way out. They have to go across. And what does he do? He closes his eyes, he takes a deep breath, and he puts one foot in front of the other, and he just goes, and in that split second, it could have either been death or a way that was made. And that's the reality of your life, is that you may look at a situation and go, if I take a step forward, it could be my demise. It could be my death. I could fall to the ground and never recover. But the reality is that when he took that first step, the bridge appeared. I'll never forget, he takes the rocks and he throws them on so that other people could come behind him on the bridge. And that's what is required of you. It's required of me if we're gonna live the life that we're meant for. Is it will require courage to take that first step. Fear's job, your ego's job, is to tell you everything to hold you back, to keep you small, to keep you in your head, to keep the anxiety going, to keep the fear going, to keep the depression going. When we tap into courage, this is a form of love. This is a form of loving ourselves. When we are courageous for ourselves, we are loving ourselves. We're honoring ourselves. We're instilling into our nervous system, hey, I'm a champion, and this is what a champion does. I want you to think about where in your life are you not taking the next step because you've allowed fear to hold you back. You're allowing fear to keep you small. You're allowing fear to keep you in a loop so that those problems just keep going over and over and over, and everywhere you go, there you are. Everywhere you go, there your problem is. But you need the courage to get rid of your problems, and it's taking that first courageous step. It's getting very clear about what step are you not taking, what action that's needed that you keep resisting, that you feel this big wall of resistance, and even the thought of it terrifies you. That is the damn thing that you have got to do. It's not always going to be easy, but when you get on the other side of your problems and you taste the sweetness of freedom. You see, I'm not just this crazy courage junkie who likes to take risks. No, it's because I understand that when I have courage to get rid of my problems, when you have courage to get rid of your problems, on the other side of our problems is freedom. And we take freedom for granted because we have so much given to us. But internal freedom, freedom of the mind, freedom in the heart, freedom to live life on your own terms. There's nothing more sweet than freedom. And the reality is that's what you have to tell yourself, that freedom is greater than the fear. I'll tell you one last story. I knew I was 18 years old and I had gotten married. And I knew that going through a divorce I was like 25, 26, that going through a divorce was gonna be the scariest thing I had ever done in my life. And the reason why was I was leaving everything and everyone I knew behind. I remember knowing that I was going to leave my ex-husband for reasons that were very valid. I remember just feeling tormented. I'm talking tormented by fear at night, where I couldn't sleep, where I would toss and turn and I would cry. And I just would hear this fear saying, if you do this, and this is what resistance will do to you, this is what fear will do to you, to hold back your courage. I kept hearing this voice say, if you do this, if you leave this person, you will be tormented. You will be so afraid. You'll be so incapable. You'll be in the dark. You'll be all alone. Never forget, like, that fear was tangible. It was real. I could feel it in my body. I could hear it in my mind. It was so dark, almost like demonic. It was horrific. And I remember being tormented every night saying that. And hearing that, and this is what I said to myself to get through this. And sometimes it's just saying the right thing for your mind and your body to believe it, so that you can take the next step to get rid of your problems with courage. So I said to myself this: listen, I can go through a divorce and maybe the first year of my life is going to be hell. Maybe it's going to be one of the hardest things I've ever done. But, and this is a taste of freedom, but I would rather have one shitty, horrific year that you keep telling me about fear. This was my conversation with fear. I'd rather have one shitty, hard, difficult year that may feel like death, if that means that I get the rest of my life to be free. And it was that motto, it was that mantra that I kept telling myself. I may go through one difficult year, but I will get freedom for the rest of my life. And if you followed my work on my dating and relationship channel, you know my life has been nothing but free. I've lived in Bali, I've had my own television show, I live in the south of France, I've lived in Thailand, I work remotely, I coach people all over the world, thousands of followers. Can't wait for the millions. But none of that would have happened if I didn't have the courage to get rid of my problems, to get rid of an unhealthy situation and to walk out of it so that I could have freedom. What is it that you need to tell yourself? What conversation do you need to have with yourself and you need to have with fear so that you can access, you can tap into your courage and get rid of your problems once and for all? Subscribe to this channel. This is brand new. It's just gonna keep getting better and better. Make sure you like this video and share this with your friends. If you can share this with 5 people, post it on your social media, because the reality is there are a lot of people who are boggled down by fear, who can't move past their problems. And maybe this video is a turning point in their life. Maybe you could be the answer to their problems just by sharing this video with them and them feeling encouraged and inspired that they can be powerful in their life, that they will have the courage to get rid of the problems because you chose to share a video with them. Listen, make sure you subscribe, and I will put in my comment section if you need help and you want coaching with me, you can apply with that. But if not, get your hands on my free course, Become the Damn Hero of Your Life. It will give you the practical next steps to continue to remove your problems so that you can taste the freedom and the life that you were meant for.